Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to this first in a little series of like holiday themed bursts that I'm going to do for you. So one of my things that I've got up my sleeve is a little bit of a gift coming up to the end of the year and also the end of the first year of Heart Held Online. So let's get straight into it. This is like a road trip cue up or an antidote to long time in the car. Did some driving over the weekend, so yeah, this is kind of what I imagine. Let's just roll the shoulders back and down and just let the hips and the knees just slightly bend. So just flexion and extension, little bops down and up. And then we'll just take the right arm all the way up and over, containing through the ribs but getting so long. And maybe clasping the right hand with the left wrist and just gently tugging on that one just to increase the range of motion. I'm just taking a couple of long deep breaths here. Just encouraging extension. And through center and let that go. All the way up and over to the left. And a gentle pull on that left wrist with the right just to get super long through the side body, which can get really compressed when we're sitting in a car for a long time. Big breaths in and out. And release. Let's just roll the arms through the full rotation of the shoulder blade, or the shoulder joint I should say, all the way forward, up, back and down, and then reversing that direction. You can do the little bops in the knees if that helps you. You can speed it up a bit, reversing back to the first direction. Just taking up so much space here, but starting to tune into the position of the head and the ribs in relation to the spine and the pelvis. So now just tucking the chin and letting the head come back in space so that it's almost being held by the hands behind the head. So chin tucked and then ribs contained. We're going to let the arms go down by the sides and try and keep that position of the skull and take the right arm up so the shoulder comes into flexion, full flexion, so it's open. You're trying to show your full armpit to someone, and the opposite arm, the left arm, is just open and maybe even a tiny bit of extension. So you might even take the hand back behind the body a tiny bit, but keep the ribs and the skull drawing back in space, and then we'll just alternate here. And when the arm comes up, you can turn the palm of the top arm so that it faces out, and then it faces back as it goes back behind you. Just for now. Keeping constant awareness of the position of the head and the ribs and the pelvis in space. Last one of this on the right and then the left. So good. And now let's come down into a squat. We're going to stand on the left leg. So nice deep hip flexion here, not your deepest squat ever. Hands can come to prayer or they can come to your hips, and you're just going to stand in the left leg and you're just going to start to draw little circles with that right knee. Taking the hip, you're imagining that your hip, the top of your femur in your acetabulum, it's like a ball in a socket, and you're lubricating it, you're taking it through its full range of motion here. Because again, those hips can get pretty stuck in flexion, so we're taking them through abduction and extension as well as flexion. And step back and just come into a little bit of a hip flexor stretch here. Just pushing with that right glute to open up the hips. So keeping some control, it's the muscle of the glute that's driving the opening of the hip. And come up, stand on the right side, squat down, whatever you need to balance. If you need to, you can also take your hand to a wall here. We're just going to draw those little circles with our left knee. Lubricating. It's pretty challenging for the balance, so it can be useful to just train the eye on one spot and just let the gaze soften a little bit, so you're almost taking in what's in the peripheral vision as well, rather than intensely gazing at one specific thing. Taking the other direction. Nice big deep breaths, and then step back and just push a little bit to open that hip flexor by squeezing the left glute. And you can take opposite elbow and I like to imagine that I can get as long from my elbows down to my shoulders, down to the sides of my ribs, all the way down to my hips. And let that go. Okay, we're now going to try and actively open the shoulders a little bit more. So see if you can take your arm out to a stop sign. And then internal rotation, so turn it down like a scarecrow or a robot move. And then take it behind your back. Just as much as you can. You might just get to the small of the lower back, or you might be able to kind of push a little bit to get some momentum and some passive assistance by pushing the back of the hand against the back of the back. And then take that left arm all the way over and just a little bit of a neck stretch here. Big breaths. And let that go. Internal rotation of the left shoulder. Take it back behind you, maybe just behind the lower back, or maybe the back of the palm comes somewhere near the shoulder blades if you've got that much range. And then right arm all the way up and over to that left ear, and just gently applying some release on the side of the left neck. Okay, you're all done. I hope you feel a little bit less contracted, a little bit more expanded. And yeah, I hope you got where you were going safely, and have a lovely Christmas and holiday season. I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.